Okay, it is loading up.
I still have to pack and all that.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I forgot.
It's okay. I plan on not sleeping probably tonight.
What time is your flight?
It's like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh wow.
I don't think I've even checked into my flight yet. So I'm gonna be all the way in the back by the bathroom. Ew, gross.
Are you on Southwest?
Yeah. And I'm having,
Okay.
oh my gosh, I still have to get to BWI.
We're live. You know that, right? We're
I keep
live.
forgetting.
Oh shoot. Okay. Hey. So
It's like a I hear an echo.
I know you do. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Take it away, sissy.
Hello, guys. Welcome to My Lady Lessons with the Carter sisters. So today we're going to be discussing how the MeToo movement has affected the way that men pursue women and the way that women expect men to pursue them, just like the change in those roles. And we'll also be discussing the relationships with men, like men friendships, and how they are also play a role in helping a woman heal through as being like a friend and giving male advice. And so we're just going to chime in and have a couple of different discussions, because the last discussion we definitely kind of went hard on the brothers. Just a little bit, but we want to also the point of these discussions is to uplift and give some positive outlook as well. So we definitely don't want the brothers or the women to feel attacked, or that we don't have positive views during the waiting period. So, right.
Sounds good. So where do you want to start?
Okay. So as far as like, we can start about the Me Too movement. Okay. So some of the feedback in our previous discussion, we talked about the way that men pursue and how these roles have changed and how it's a little bit different now. Like, men seem to be more hesitant. They're not as quick to ask you out on a date. And some of the feedback that I received from male friends who are single, they are saying, one male friend told me he hasn't actually approached a woman in person in like a year. And he said it has to do with him, a little bit of a fear of not knowing how to approach a woman without it coming off as something sexual, or he doesn't want it to backlash on him where he is where they try to say it's sexual harassment if they do not want him to approach them or not. So now he says he just waits for the woman to approach him, or he just doesn't approach at all, which that's why online dating is like on fire now. Like, everybody is more comfortable with online dating, because now a lot of these sites that are very popular, the women are the ones that have to give the green light for the men to approach them, or both people have to match in order for them to connect. So a lot of men are more comfortable with doing it that way, because the old school way is they're not comfortable doing it that way anymore. Sister.
Listen. Okay, well, a couple of things with that. Number one, I've never done online dating, so I am definitely more traditional. So I
Mhm.
definitely feel the so it's a couple of things. I do meet men.
Mhm.
I meet men. I do. I had a recent incident that was actually pretty beautiful.
Mhm.
But he didn't take it all the way.
Okay.
He did literally a stranger, and he basically rushed up to open the door for me, asked me first. And I think these are some of the effects of the Me Too, right?
Yes.
Not only Me Too, I think we kind of went into the Me Too after we should kind of talk about that clip that we discussed, the Joe Button thing.
Yes.
But what happened was, I was approaching the restaurant. He saw me,
Mhm.
and he asked me, could he open the door for me? Now, some men days they would just do it, but unfortunately, some of them have gotten their heads chopped off by some
Yeah.
women that take that as, which I don't get that,
Mhm.
offensive.
Right.
That I can do it myself, whatever. Like, girl, let the man, whatever. But I
Yeah.
don't, I don't relate to that. But I was like, of course, please do. Thank you. And then but I have to say, it was hard for me to let him open that second door, because I felt like, well, do I wait? Do I, whatever? I
Right.
always feel that way. I
Yeah.
always feel that way. And I think that's the effect of, maybe that's the masculine energy. Maybe that's the singleness. I'm
Mhm.
used to doing for myself. I'm used to just
Mhm.
moving now, and then when we get in, brings tears to my eyes right now. No, I'm just playing. But when we get in, and it was one of those, you're picking up and going places, and
Uh-huh.
I order my food, and then I go to insert my card to pay for it. He rushes up and pays for it. And
Wow.
I was like, sir, sir.
Like, oh my God, this is so weird, but thank you, but this is weird. I don't know how
Yeah, it
to
was
take
weird,
this.
but I I I made myself fall into my feminine, and
Mhm.
I said thank you. And
Mhm.
then it was awkward because you're standing there waiting, and it's kind of like whatever. Long story short, I wanted him to ask me for my number.
So you
But
thought he was attractive?
yes, now of course we had masks on, so I don't
Okay.
know what the
You
bottom
don't know
half.
what's going on, and then he was like, ah.
I don't know what the bottom half looked like, but everything else was, and
Right,
plus he
from the,
just,
I mean, it could be a
yeah,
world of a difference below there. It could be a bell
yes,
pepper.
exactly. But the rest of the package, but what I'm saying
Okay.
is that that was a very nice moment, but he didn't, he didn't take it all the way, but he also alluded to that we were going to meet again, and we were going to run into each other again, and blah blah blah. And I was like, darn it, man, you could have got the digits today. But I guess he didn't
Uh,
want it to be like he was doing it for that reason. But that would have been okay with me. But for some reason, for some women, they may have taken it differently, you know?
well, okay. So there's two sides to this. Let me ask you this. Did you do anything to make him feel like you were interested in him that way besides saying thank you and I appreciate it?
Yes.
Okay.
We're standing there like two awkward folks. Well, I felt awkward. I felt awkward
Uh-huh.
because you're waiting for your food, right?
Right.
And he and I struck up a conversation.
Okay.
I asked him his name,
Okay.
and we had a little conversation. And
Hmm.
it was like, just sometimes you need to, I can tell he said something about, he could tell I was a giving person, and sometimes you need people to give to you. And he went into all of this. I mean,
That's some game right there. That's some game right there, girl.
but because of who I am, I wasn't going to say, well, hey, let's
Right.
exchange, blah, blah, blah. I got his
Right.
name. I said his name at least 4 times while you know, whatever, both of our food came up and I waited for him at the door to open the door.
Okay, well listen, then so this is the thing.
I did my part.
For me, if you let him gave him the green light to approach you and he didn't come forth, it could be one or two things. He might already be involved with someone and he just thought you were an attractive woman and wanted to do something nice, you know? Or, you know, again, he might have been scared and wanted you to go all the way through, which we're not doing that. But I feel more so that he probably has something going on already that, and he's just like, this is a beautiful woman. I need her to see me and let her know that I see her. And him saying, oh, we'll run into each other in the future. He probably got he probably hopes his situation ends.
And if that's the case, I appreciate the integrity. You know what I mean? And I just took it as a nice moment and all of that. So yeah, but you know, but really, I really do think that, you know, the more. So can you talk a little bit about the well, it was a Joe Budden, his podcast, right? Do you remember kind of what? Trying to see
if I play it, would everybody be able to hear it?
You can try. You can try. While you're pulling it up, I'm going to look in the comments and see. Hey y'all, thank y'all for joining. Thank you for joining. Okay, the Quentin says my pastor says it's just nice to be nice. Okay, yeah, it is. But I thought it was more than that. But
it was definitely more than that.
It was more than that. But yeah, but that's true. He also says society is making it really tough for a man. Society is making it really tough for a man to be a man without the extras. Okay, LaQuentin, what do you mean by extras? What?
Yeah, I definitely want to hear that. Hey, LaQuentin, thanks for joining.
Okay. Hey, LaQuentin. Yeah, if you could elaborate a little bit on what the extras are so that we can understand what you mean by that as a man.
Yes.
Okay.
So I found the clip. Let me know if you can hear it.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm scared to flirt with women now. It should be. I'm like, I don't even know what, like, the art of seduction is, to me, doesn't even exist anymore. Like, how do you even, like, go at a woman that you're interested in without, because you don't even know what a line is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, so now it's almost like the women have to be aggressive, because it's like, yo, you ain't gonna never say I came at you inappropriately or I said something that was, because you just don't know. Everybody is different.
It's so weird when men say this take that you're spewing right now, and I'm with you, by the way. Like, for me, how I handle that is I just don't initiate sex at all. I don't attempt to. I don't try it. When you're ready, we'll get there. You'll let me know.
Exactly.
You'll let me know, right? But when men say these takes, women receive it differently. Like I'm listening to you talk, and I'm a man, so I understand what you're saying. But I could also hear a woman hearing it and saying, "So you don't know how to pursue a woman without." But why don't you? Wait, let me finish saying what I just could see women saying. Why don't you know how to interact with a woman without it coming off that way? Like, how were you raised? What were your views of women coming up? Like, that's, they get into all that stuff. But you don't.
Okay, you can pause it. You can pause it there. Okay. Well, there was a couple of things for me in this particular clip. Okay, once again, this was from Joe Budden's Budden podcast. Okay, I don't know the name of the podcast, but that's his podcast. But the thing for me, number one, in this particular clip, they were talking about, it seems like he was leaning more about initiating sex. You know what I mean? Like, and y'all, sorry, I'm really lisping. Hope I'm not spitting on my computer with these things in my mouth.
Oh.
These doggone Invisalign. It's hard for me to talk.
Oh, that's gonna be a side. You did not tell me you got Invisalign, but go ahead.
Yes. So, but the thing is that, okay, so that is interesting that he leaned heavily on the sex part. We don't know how to initiate sex, so we basically just gonna wait for the woman. But it was like they were intertwining it with approaching a woman, period, which I find that problematic. The two that's not equal.
Right.
Initiating sex and approaching a woman that you're interested in. So are you saying that usually when you approach a woman, it's automatically about sex? Like,
yes. Yes. For men, it is. I mean, I feel like, and men chime in if we're right or wrong about this, but to my understanding, because men are visual people, usually when you are approaching a woman, it's because you find her attractive, meaning you want to sleep with her. Not necessarily that's what's going to end up happening, or that's the only reason why you're approaching her, but more than likely you see her and you like, I want to bang her back in, so I'm gonna try to see what's up. But I'm not gonna necessarily try to, but I'm gonna see how she is. Now, if she walking with her booty cheeks hanging out, her titties hanging out, and she walking like it's easy to have her back banged in, and ladies, I'm not saying you can't walk with your titties and your booty out. I know, listen, don't come for me. I get it, but I'm just saying, like, if the perception.
Yeah.
When a man sees a woman who's has all that hanging out, then because they're visual people, they're automatically going to go to thinking about sex.
Yeah.
So if they see a woman that's attractive and she can have on a sweatsuit on, and this is something that men have told me, like they still going to look at if she's an attractive woman, he's going to be thinking about sex. So yeah, maybe that's why he put the two together. I'm not sure, but for us, when a man approaches us, I mean, a lot of times when I see a guy, my mind goes to I would let him bang my back in.
Oh God!
Like he could do it, but I'm like, he's attractive.
Okay, so
but I'm like,
he could get it. Okay, he could get it. Okay, but okay, this is the thing. Everybody doesn't automatically. You can be attracted to a person, okay? You can be attracted to a person and not the first thing you're thinking about. But now, I think it's the other way. If you see someone and there is no sexual chemistry, then it's a no-go usually from the door, meaning that you may be cool with them, but you're not thinking about them in that way. So, right. I mean, I get that part, but I'm not, but everybody's different, whatever.
Like, I went on a date with a guy who I thought it was like an online thing, and we're switching subjects, but I'm just gonna say this part real quick. It was an online thing. He was sitting when I walked up, so I saw his face. I thought his face was attractive. And I was like, oh, he has a nice looking face. And we were talking and eating dinner. And then he said, I'm going to get up and go to the bathroom. And I didn't think he was attractive anymore.
Why, Carrie? Why? His butt was
built like SpongeBob. Like, he was attractive anymore.
Oh.
Look, he was a very nice guy, and I hope I'm not coming off as shallow. Maybe I am. I'm sorry, but I am attracted to what I'm attracted to, and I'm not saying he's got to look like G.I. Joe, but his pictures lied to me, which is also very rude. Like I thought he was, because if I would have known he was built like SpongeBob, then I would have just like not even gone out to dinner. I also, when I'm not attracted to someone, I pay for my food. So I'm like, I'll pay for my half, and I do.
Why? Why? That's interesting. Why?
Because a lot of these guys, especially online dating, a lot of women use them for free meals. And this particular guy was like telling me how he has been used. I should have known that was that was a sign, but he told me that he had been used for free meals before and all that stuff. And I just didn't want to be that other part, I didn't want him.
Okay, and because you knew you weren't interested and you didn't want him to take it further than that. Well, that's noble then. Okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, but he paid for it anyway. But I said I would pay for it, but he paid for my food. But I told him I wanted to pay for it. I had my card out. He would not give me the. Because I really need him to understand that we friends. Like this is not really even a date. We're just meeting up and having dinner. Yeah. So, anyways, that's
yeah. So okay, so going back to the whole the thing that the gentlemen were talking about on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I actually understand that. I get the fact that they are now nervous they don't know where the lines are, but it's really, unfortunately, it's telling on both ends. It's like, hell, were we so out of control between the sexes that it's like now it's like there's no balance, and I'm talking about in a very broad general sense. If a man now feels like he is frozen in place, because he doesn't know what will be over the line or whatever, then that really is very telling about how we've been operating as men and women with each other. Because it's like, okay, no, just don't do something super crass and rude. Don't walk up grabbing me. Don't, you should not walk up and say something overtly sexual to someone that, number one, you don't know. And then number two, if you do know them, you should know whether that would be okay with her or not,
but there's a difference between complimenting a woman and, sexual accusation, like trying to come at her sexually, like calling a woman beautiful. And I think you're very attractive. I think you're very beautiful. That's different than, damn, you wearing them shorts. You know what I mean? Like, you looking stacked, or you a stout, saying something about her body, it's just ways that you have to approach her in a respectful way. Also, read the room. So if you're talking to a woman and there are certain signs that a woman will show you that she is attracted to you, not necessarily, not all women are like this, but like, I'll give myself as an example. If I'm attracted to someone, I will let the conversation carry on. I will look you in the eyes. I will smile. I will laugh at your jokes. I might even touch a shoulder,
the touch barrier.
Touch a shoulder, touch a wrist, or whatever. There's something that I will let you know, like I'm feeling you, and that's when you can kind of go, just kind of read the room. Just be patient, talk to the woman, and see how you're vibing with each other. I had to, honestly, there was a service that I was using, and the gentleman kept making sexual comments that was really making me uncomfortable. I was not attracted to him at all. I would even go into talking about my dating life and who I'm dating, and telling him that you're like a big brother to me, like using that type of lingo, just letting him know. Never touched him ever. I always kept a space, and just like, I never even tried to. I came off more masculine on purpose with him than I did feminine, because I didn't want him to be attracted to me in that way. And he didn't read the room. So he would say comments like, with your sexy ass and stuff like that. And it was just like,
barf.
Yes.
When it's somebody you ain't. Ugh.
And I would tell him, I'm like, don't say it. Like, stop saying that. That's gross. That's like my brother saying that or something. I was just like, I didn't know how to say it without me and him feeling uncomfortable. You know what I mean? So I just chose to end the service, but it just got to the point where I was getting frustrated, because it's like, read the doggone room. Like, I'm not showing you at all that I want this type of interaction with you, but you keep trying and you bring it forward, That's when it's a little too much. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. And so I think that's where we as men and women, we have to we got to help each other out, because there are those people that don't care. They're not trying to read the room or whatever. Well, I want to go back to something else you said before I say what I was about to say. I want to add an addendum about the touch barrier. Okay. It's not every touch, because don't think just because a one, it's not every touch, because some women are touchy-feely. That's just their personality. Like I'm a touchy-feely person. I'm a laughing, smiling, touchy-feely person, unless somebody is doing something that is bringing out another side of me. But I'm very comfortable with men. You know what I mean? So I may be prone to be like, boy, you so crazy, or, you know, touch your arm or your back. Now, if, you know, so it depends on the type of touch. Don't take every touch as go, you know, whatever. So that's one thing. And
do you think, before you go into the second part, do you think that's a catch-22 though? Like if we're saying to them that don't touch us unless whatever, but if we are looking, if we're conversing with them and we're just comfortable with you and we touch you, you need to figure out what sign it is. Like, can't that be?
I agree. It's not, but it's not like, I'm not the type that don't touch me. Don't touch me in certain ways. Like for instance, and this man happened to be a gay man. Okay. But it's still was, you know, okay. So and we were at work as well. Okay. So this was a while ago, but I'm walking towards him, right? And he walks up and literally cups my itty bitty. He cups me. He said, "Oh my God, your breasts are perfectly proportioned for your body." And I'm standing there like, what? I literally was speechless. Okay. And then my face was my face is very expressive. And he was like, "Oh, don't worry about it." He was like, "Don't worry about it. I'm gay." And I'm thinking, what difference does it matter?
It doesn't.
You don't walk up to somebody and grab them by the breast or grab their butts. So what I mean by touching, like, I don't mind a man touching me. I don't mind him touching my back to lead me for. Don't touch the back next to my booty, like the small of my back, unless you know you got it like that. And but you better know, okay? But I'm saying just in general, like your friends, your whatever, or just a stranger, I don't mind a man kind of, you know, guiding by touching me, my back, or touching my arm. Don't touch a thigh, a booty, a breast. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I think that most women who have not been violated, so that's the other thing. And this is why I can see why men can say, well, hell, I don't know what to do.
Too many rules.
Yeah, it's too
That's
many.
why they're confused.
Right. That's why you have to use some wisdom, some discernment. And this is the other thing. Sometimes just ask. Like the gentleman asked me, he said, "Do you mind if I open the door for you?" You know what I mean? If you're unsure, that's why you have to have some courage, gentlemen. You know, if you're unsure, just say, "Do you mind? Do you mind if I touch you? Is it okay for me to, you know, whatever?" And if she says, no, don't touch me. And then, you know, don't do nothing. Don't touch nothing. Don't try to just leave her alone.
That's probably the best advice. And I think, again, and this is what I've heard from other men. It's already hard to approach a woman because rejection sucks. So you approach a woman and you're hoping to get her number or whatever, and then you get rejected. That sucks. Then on top of that, nowadays, now you have to ask if you can touch her. Now you have to ask if you can open the door for her. So now they're like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to do none of it. If y'all want me, let me know, because and again, this is what I've heard from other men. It's already this pressure of them of approaching women and getting rejected, and so now there's these added rules of them approaching her and then making sure that the approach is okay and that it's not sexual, and that, you know, and it's too much for them, you know, so that now they are. If I tell you the online dating is lit.
And this is one of the main reasons why I don't really want to participate, even though I've had several people be like, you should. But oh my God, I don't think I have the temperament.
I felt the same way, but like, I'm a single woman. I want to date, and I know that in today's times, it's a little difficult. So, I've been on a couple of dates from online dating. Some of them were garbage, and some of them have been great. I've connected with a couple of guys where it's just like, okay, well, we can see where this is going. And I think it takes the tension off. Like when we meet each other, it's like, okay, we already, and I FaceTime them too before I see them. I didn't do that with SpongeBob, and I should have, but yeah, I didn't do that with SpongeBob. But the other guys, I usually FaceTime to make sure that we can break the ice. And then when we see each other, it's like, hey, we already are kind of comfortable. And literally, I like the old school way of being approached because it makes you feel desired, and it feels great for a man to walk up like the guy did with you, the other day. Some men do like that. Some men still do it. But because of all these rules and them being scared, like, I get it. So because I want to date, like,
and the thing about it, this is the thing. Some men still do it. Like, this is the thing. There's some men that they are traditional as well. And they're just like, okay, this is what it is. And what I find that it's the men who are not like having those, like they did not have a history of some super crass behavior before. It's kind of like, okay, well, yeah, times have changed. And so now how do I adjust my approach? It's not that I'm not going to do it. It's just that, I have to be more aware that there's other dynamics here. And unfortunately, there's a reason for it. Like, there have been legit things that have been happening over the decades that have not been addressed. And just like when you said the gentleman, you're giving him nicely all of these, like letting him know, dude, I'm not feeling you like that. So just don't flirt with me. Don't approach me that way. So someone like him, and unfortunately, even because you're not a shy woman or anything like that, but you felt uncomfortable. So you didn't just flat out, you just ended the service. You didn't like say, dude, and blah, 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 blah. But someone like him may actually need someone to be very direct and say, listen, you are the reason why there is a Me Too movement. I did this, I did that, and you continue to come for me. I am not interested. Do not say another damn thing to me, or else it's gonna be problems. I mean, you know what I mean? Some men you need to go there with, because they won't get it. But then you have those other guys that may just be clueless and may make some missteps, and you can say, hey, you know what? That made me kind of feel whatever. Don't overthink it, but I'm just letting you know that can come off a certain way. And if he's really a guy that's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize that, he'll take it as lesson learned and keep it pushing,
Right. And the guy who I was talking about, he was one of those men who I knew would not take it lightly. Like it would have been an argument, and it probably would have been a cussing out match. So I didn't even want to, I just wanted to end the service altogether. But I definitely agree with you. Like, some people, you have to just like tell them flat out, like, I'm not interested. You're making me uncomfortable, and this needs to stop. And honestly, I have never said that. Like, and there's been multiple times where, even at work, where men have come to me and it's just been inappropriate. And ever since the Me Too movement, now I've gotten more sensitive to that, to where now I'm kind of more aware on to change my vibe with that person if he comes off like that. But I've never been like, stop, I don't like it, you need to stop, back the fuck up,
you said you've never done that?
I've never done that before. Like
Wow.
I've never.
Why?
It's I'm not comfortable. I don't know how to do it. You know, it's and honestly, what's weird, and this is how a lot of women, and this is gonna get a little bit deep. This is how a lot of women get raped and they don't say anything because in their mind they're blaming themselves. So there's been times where I'm like, well, maybe I'm being too flirty. Well, maybe I'm dressed a little too sexy. So maybe I just, I put a little bit of blame on myself. So then I put it on me and I back off. Or maybe I'm being a little bit too chummy, talking a little bit too much, there's been a lot of creepers out there. So now I just kind of, I keep a distance. If I'm not interested in someone, then I make sure I make it obvious that it's not that way. And if they come at me in an inappropriate way, I just remove myself from the situation. I'm not quite there with the back the fuck up, get the fuck out of my face, I don't want you touching me type. Unless, I guess it matters of the situation. It's never been so aggressive where I've had to go there because I just remove myself. But there's been multiple times where people have been inappropriate with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's really powerful what you just said, because again, it depends on the situation. You know what I mean? Like you may be a very direct person, you may be a very, strong person, but put in certain situations, it because you never know someone's background. And sometimes you don't even know why you're responding the way that you are. You may be, surprising yourself, like, why didn't I just stand up for myself? You know what I mean? But you're just, you may be confused by that but I think what I hear you saying is why there has to be a balance. And that's why I think the season we're in right now, and I think both men and women have to accept it, that we're in a season of balance. There's been an off balance of some the Harvey Weinsteins or whatever, the R. Kellys, and dare I say, some people say Bill Cosby. That's a controversial one. Whatever, we're not gonna get into that. But I'm saying that when you have those where it's been egregious allegations and experiences and behavior, and you see people say, oh, this happened to me, and all this kind of stuff, and they didn't say anything, they didn't feel empowered, they felt in the shadows and couldn't say anything. So now they're speaking.
Yeah.
And then so now you have the guys that, a number of them are not creeps. A number of them have not done anything to women like that. A number of them, they wasn't even on their radar like that, but now it's on everybody's radar. And so now we're in a season of balance, figuring out where the line is, we as women. So the other thing, let's say this too, now you have the crazy females that are taking advantage of the fact that we are in this balanced season, and they are falsely accusing some guys or taking it just over the top, where now it's kind of like you got the other women that's like, hold on,
like I've actually been raped, and you're talking about someone touching your earring.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, excuse me, so it's where we have to give each other, and this is what I always say, that we have to treat each other like we're freaking human beings. Men, you need to treat women like they're human beings, and women need to treat men like they are human beings. They have feelings, they have emotions, and vice versa. So, I think that we're just in this season of balance, and it doesn't mean, men, we do not need you to fall back and cower in the corner. I'm just going to say that out. We don't want you to do that. But we do understand that you are trying to find your balance. And what I would encourage you to do and empower you to do is find it. Please find the balance, because we need you. We still need you to be that man, And
one of the things with women is like, women like to feel desired. And one of the beautiful things of when a man approaches a woman who's at the grocery store in her sweats or you know, doing whatever, and you come up to her and you say, you know, I think you're a beautiful woman. You know, I would love to get to know you. Like, that's what makes our heart flutter. Like, trust me, we go back and tell our girlfriends, girl, this man just walked up to me and told me that I was beautiful. I ain't got no makeup on or sweats. You know, we love that stuff and we miss it. You know, even though the online thing, you know, we connect with you guys because that's a way to connect, but we definitely want you to continue to pursue us. And if you have questions, then ask questions, you know, like my sister said, like, hey, do you mind if I open the door for you? Do you mind if I, grab your hand or whatever, you know?
Is this okay? You ain't got to make it all deep. Well, you can just say, is this okay?
Right.
And then if it's not, she should now see that's where the other thing with women.
Mm-hmm.
If the man asks you, is this okay or something, then open your mouth and tell the truth. If you are not comfortable with it, say, no, I really don't care for that, or please don't.
And don't be a bitch.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just say no, thank you. Just, I appreciate it, but I'm really, and just let it be that. I think that we have to give each other, and that's another thing, gentlemen, women, we get rejected too. Okay, so the rejection goes both ways. So, please stop with all of this, like y'all the only ones. Yeah, we put ourselves out there as well, and we get rejection too. And I know it hurts. It doesn't feel good, but it's a part of the dance. You know what I mean? It's a part of the dance, and you can't, just try not to take it personally. Just say there's a person that's rejecting you, and there's going to be somebody that, accepts you, and just keep it moving. Can we go to the comments a little bit? I wanted to
please
go back to, okay, so when we asked LaQuentin to clarify what he meant by the extras, he said sexual, too aggressive, and just chivalrous for a man to do things like that. I'm not sure if that was all together. I think sexual, when he said that society is making it really tough for a man to be a man without the extras. And then when we said, can you clarify what you mean by the extras? And he said, I believe the answer he was saying was sexual and being too aggressive. That's what he meant by the extras. He said just chivalrous for a man to do things like that. I think referring to the story I told earlier. Okay, Jonathan agrees with Joe and okay, Greg Glass is male or whoever. I don't know who that. Okay, yeah, it is the Joe Budden podcast. Okay, Jonathan said he thinks they meant overall, not just the sex part. Okay, well, they said the sex part.
To us. We going off of what y'all say.
Yeah, we're just going by what they were saying. They highlighted the sex part. So, so yeah, so we get it, guys. We get it. It is it's different. It's different now. And but I think that it's just going to take another type of courage on all of our parts. And really, actually, it can be actually a really good thing, because that means, guess what? We got to get better at communicating.
Right. You know what? Someone who saw our discussion on the last one was the one who sent me the Joe Budden thing.
Okay.
And I told him, I was like, well, just to be clear, just in case you're not clear, that I am attracted to you. Pursue me. And I open the door for you to, ask me out. And I just since you guys are saying that you're scared or you're just not going to do it at all, that I'm letting you know that you have the green light. I'm not going to do the work though. Not at the beginning. You need to pursue me, ask me out.
Yeah.
And so now there won't be any confusion as far as where I stand. And us ladies might have to do that as well.
And many of us are willing to do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Especially when, like, for me, what I typically do is, okay, I usually go off the man's energy.
Mhm.
Okay. And I give him the time and space, to see if he's going, come with it, initially. And I'm just, I'm laid back into my feminine, and I'm allowing him to lead the situation. Okay.
Right.
If he does not, I'm calculating that junk or whatever, but guys have to also understand that, again, like you said, that we need to know that you are interested, and if you're not doing anything to show us that, then it's kind of like, yeah, well, you may just say forget it, or especially if you've developed a friendship, you may go ahead and just open the conversation, or if you feel that level of comfort. So for me, I give the man the opportunity to do it. And then if he doesn't, and then I feel like that, okay, we've developed enough where I can say, well, hey, why haven't you asked me out?
Right.
And I'll just, if you've been saying I'm the best thing since sliced bread, well, then why haven't you asked me out? So, but let me ask you this. You do all of that. The man says he's interested, but he still doesn't take action.
He got a situation, or he's scared, and I ain't got time for it. Let me tell you, because I let him know, and he told me he was attracted to me. There hasn't been any moving forward. And we just don't be on pause. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I can't do anything else for you.
Yeah,
like, I let you know. I'm not being aggressive with it. I'm just like, hey, I'm just letting you know, like, and I said the same thing to another guy, and he's been going full forward, consistent, trying to see me, asking me out on date. Like, he is interested. But to me, if you are not moving forward, and I even gave the green light, either you're juggling a lot and you can't keep up, so you got a team, you got a situation that you already are in, and you don't have the time, or you're really not interested, which is fine, which is fine. But any three of those things, I don't have time for it, and I'm not trying to like dig it to try to get it out of you. So if I already told you.
Yeah, in that case, especially when you've been very direct with the man, and I agree. I think that's the part that us as ladies may have to, be willing to step up on, be direct if you are open to the gentleman, especially some men, and men will say it themselves that some men they clueless when it comes to reading time. It's kind of like you got to be direct with them, unless they the type of dude that feel like everybody want them, which many of them are not, but I think that, like, for me, like, I had a recent situation where somebody reemerged, that I haven't heard from in several months, but I yarned when I saw the name pop up on my phone. And I'm just gonna be honest, because this gentleman is all talk. It's literally all talk. Now, I'm saying we have gone out a few times, but every time that we go out, he is always the same thing. I said I was going to be intentional about pursuing you. I said I'm going, and then what do you expect me to do? You think I'm going to jump up and yay, finally? No. I don't even know if I like you, dude, because you haven't been consistent, and I'm not thinking about you. So, when you do pop in, we have a good time when we do get together. So I'm like, I've already friend zoned you. So I don't want to hear it. That there is that. So whatever the reason is, whether you're scared, whether you whatever, especially when a woman has shown you that she's open to you, she's given you access to her. Because most women, especially quality women, they're not going to just give access to just anyone. So if she's giving you access to her and you still are like scared and not, then you pretty much forget it. She's friend zoned you. Just,
you have a window. You have a window of time to pursue her. Because just like men have their options, so do women. And they always have that term of, if a man really wants a woman, or if he's truly interested, he's not going to give her enough time to where her interest will go somewhere else. So
Yes.
if you are truly interested in her and you know she's a quality woman, and she has shown interest in you, you better make that move. Make that move, and it doesn't have to be you being on one knee and asking for her to marry you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just being consistent, showing her that you're interested, getting to know her, asking her out. Spending that quality time with her, and also not going weeks without saying anything. Like, nobody has time for that, especially when you've grown.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Eric says men should remain confident and masculine. Go after what you want and accept no as her position if applicable. Sorry, these things. Her no isn't a reflection of her excuse me, of your value or self-worth. Ladies, set boundaries and be confident enough to respectfully enforce them. That's good. Thank you, Eric. I completely agree. And I think that's the balance. I think that, if any, and I'm not one of those that jump on bandwagons or whatever, but I do think that the Me Too needed to happen, for those women that have felt voiceless, felt that they've kind of had these experiences and felt like they couldn't say anything, or that they would be, ostracized, or they would be alone in it. So I think it needed to happen. But one of the reasons why it needed to happen too is so that they could feel empowered to say, hey, I have a boundary and you're crossing it. Stop, don't do it again. And in whatever way that you want to say it, but the bottom line is that's what it is, and I have to say, I have not had very many experiences where it was just blatant stuff. And maybe because I don't know, I think maybe my energy is I don't know, maybe it's maybe it can be a little scary, maybe it's the Leo in me, I don't know, but when I have had gentlemen to cross that line, it was kind of like, again, it's like, either if it was serious enough for me to say something, then I said it. But if it was sometimes things that offend other women don't necessarily offend me, especially if it's verbal. Now, again, don't put your hands on me in places that you shouldn't have, so that we're gonna have a problem, but it's just, I think that, especially if you, the more empowered you feel, then I think that you kind of start exuding that, and you will actually feel more comfortable saying that, no, that's not okay with me. And I don't even feel badly about telling you that it's not okay with you. But I get it in some areas, like for me, and this is a sidebar, but for some reason, I can't do it with hairstylists. I am very direct and
whole damn different.
I'm saying that I understand that feeling of you are bold and direct in every other place.
Tell a damn hairstylist, because this is my look.
I'm telling
do it. I said what I said.
I'm telling you, that was another motivation for going natural. I didn't want, because if for some reason I don't know what's wrong with me, I will literally just never go back. I will not tell them I don't like it. I won't know. I feel, I don't know. I don't know. It's the weirdest thing. But anyway, we are coming up on the hour, but I think we should kind of go into the other conversation just for a few minutes.
But before we go into the other conversation, just real quick, I do want to say something that I did notice, and someone said this to me when I was conversing with them, as far as letting them know that I don't get sexual quickly, that I want to, it's important for me to get to know someone, and like, and also as I'm talking to them, I'm explaining to them, not being cocky, but just like, how my own confidence, what my growth and who I am as a woman.
Mhm.
And then after I'm talking to him, he says, "Are you a feminist?" And I was like,
Okay.
I don't know where, I don't have a title on what I feel about myself. I'm not
Right.
sure where that came from. What do you mean by am I a feminist? So it's like there's also this thing where women who have boundaries and women who are confident in themselves, there's like this, they use that term, some men, not all, as saying that women are feminist, and they look at it as something negative. Like any man who has talked about a woman being a feminist has talked about her as if it's a negative thing. And I want to know why. Like what is the issue with a woman setting boundaries and also being sure of herself and protecting herself as a woman? Like, why does that have to have a title of being a feminist, and why is being a feminist a negative thing to men? You know, that I think maybe because they look at it as the Me Too movement and they have like a bad taste in their mouth about that. I'm not sure, but it definitely has changed the discussion of when a woman is coming across as too strong or too sure of herself, then she's a feminist. She don't like men, you know?
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, gentlemen, if you want to speak to that, then please do in the comment section. But I will give you my take on it. The image of the feminist goes way back before the Me Too, because and some feminists are lesbians.
Mhm,
Some are, but
mhm,
many are not. I don't consider myself a feminist. I'm not at all. I'm just a woman who, and to me, woman does equal strong. It's not, it's not something that has to have some type of label like feminist on it.
right.
And I would say that there is a conflicted history with the feminist movement and Black women in particularly. So we don't have to go into that right now, but
They have a movie called Miss Gloria that just came out on Amazon Prime that addresses that.
Okay. I have to check it out. But so that is a complicated history with the official feminist movement and Black women. But I think that probably the whole idea, because a lot of feminists, the whole image is, loud, aggressive, women's rights, and very direct and all that kind of stuff. And some men are intimidated by that. So and especially if they're you, and it actually shows a lack of education on that gentleman's part by even, trying to bring it up as if it's a negative thing because you're speaking confidently, and it has, and just showing that you're a strong woman. That
Right.
doesn't not automatically equate feminist, but even if it did, so what?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Um,
his taste, the way he said it was just like, "Are you a feminist?" Like it was just like something like he was disgusted. Needless to say, there was not even a first date on
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say he sounds ignorant. Boy, bye. Um,
Mhm.
okay. Frank says nothing wrong with thinking highly of yourself. It's when you think more highly of yourself than you ought to. Humble is the way. Okay. And I don't, it must have been something that was said that sparked that. Okay, I agree.
Okay.
Humility is humility is sexy to me. That goes both ways. That goes for women and men.
Mm-hmm.
Because I cannot stand an arrogant man.
Yeah.
I just can't. So
Right.
um another thing that we were talking about was the fact that many times when women have been hurt in relationships, and even I would say all types of relationships, whether it started with that foundational male relationship, i.e., your father,
Mhm.
your relatives, or in romantic relationships, that sometimes we forget to acknowledge that there are other men in our lives that have been a source of healing for us, and I really, we wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge that I know for me personally, um, for every man that's done something shady or janky to me, I've had I've had another man that's poured so much love on me, even not being in a romantic relationship with me. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's been times where it's kind of like I've had just my guy friends that's like, okay, no, I'm not gonna let you do this. No, I'm gonna, just doing things that like kind of force me back into my feminine, and I was like, okay, that's something to acknowledge. And even we can say, even like our father, both of us have been through some crazy situations, and
Yeah.
we can always pick up the phone and call our father or go see him. Or I know when I was going through my when I went through, I think I was separated, I wasn't even divorced then. I flew my butt to Houston. I just need to be around my daddy,
Yeah.
and just the healing power of the masculine energy on you as a woman is so powerful. And I know that, like I said, from our family to uh, friends to that there can be that kind of healing salve
Absolutely.
when you've been hurt by
Yeah.
a man, and there's another man to help heal you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I can definitely agree with that. I ran into that more so out here since I moved to DC. And probably because I was always in a relationship in Texas, but out here, I've just met so many amazing men as friends who have spoken life into me, who have helped me to rebuild my confidence in men altogether, because when you surround yourself, when you're broken, not even, when you've been brokenhearted,
Yeah.
and when you have been hurt, it's easy to go into that bitter stage. You try to fight it, or like, oh man, ain't shit, da, 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 da. And that's why it's nice and important to have those type of men in your life to remind you that not all men are that way, And I do remember specifically a guy. This was actually back in Texas when I went through my divorce, and it started off where he wanted to date me. I was not there. It was way too soon. But he turned into a Bible study buddy. Like, he spoke so much life into me while I was feeling so low, in building me up when I was just feeling broken, just in seeing me when I didn't see myself. And I really appreciate it. I wish I don't even have his information, but if I did, I definitely would send him something letting him know how much I appreciated that. He was very patient. He didn't try to pursue me sexually because he knew where I was at, but his main goal was to bring me closer to God. And that it just, I will never forget him, and even out here meeting so many strong men, and we talk life into each other. Like when he's going through a breakup, or we're like, I'm like, listen, you're this, you're that, you're this and that, like, you're gonna find your love, and he says the same thing to me. And my guy friends and girlfriends, like, we all build each other up, and it really does help to lift you during those hard times. And I've had my moments.
Absolutely.
Sure,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that I think again, that word balance just keeps coming to me tonight. It's the balance between understanding that even when you have certain experiences, there's always another balance. It's like that scale. There's something or someone else that's in that same family that will be a part of your healing if you're open to it. And
Right.
sometimes it's just is to stop and acknowledge that, like, wow, like just realizing that, even that recent incident where the gentleman asked to open the door for me and all that kind of stuff, I really took that as a divine moment of God saying, listen, you know that there's great men out here because you
Right.
know some of them already. And I just want to, this is someone that you don't know from Adam that just kind of
Yeah.
in a few minutes just extended himself to you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it can happen like that. So it's just like, even like I said, just acknowledging that balance of, yeah, this person may have hurt you, but then you have someone right over here that's fully accepting, fully loving you, doesn't want anything from you, that's consistent, because that's a word that we're always using. These guys ain't consistent. Okay, but it's like, oh, this person has always been consistent, consistently, they're consistently showing love and not wanting anything, even if they, the thing about it is, even if it's like, okay, yeah, they are feeling you like that, but the difference is that when they know they don't have that from you, but they're still consistent.
Yes.
That's when you know it's not a superficial thing. And
Right.
so we just wanted to acknowledge you, brothers, and let
We
you
love
know that
y'all.
we see you, we love you. And
Yeah.
even though we have our frustrations with some of the brothers out there, we
Yes.
see and love you all that are, just showing love and being that good man, and continue to be that great man,
Yes.
and
We
continue
desire you
to
guys.
give us that energy because we need you.
Yes.
We need you. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. Well, thank y'all for joining us, sister.
Thank
Would
you.
like to say anything else?
No, I mean, you said it perfectly. We just want you guys to know that, like she said, we have our frustrations, but we definitely desire to have you in our lives. We do appreciate you, and we definitely need you in all areas, not just as our partners or our lovers, but as our friends. Like, it's just so, I'm very proud when I see Black men, or, I just love my brothers. So when I see them, especially being in Chocolate City, I'm just really proud of you guys, and I appreciate y'all. And like she said, we might bitch and moan a little bit, but we can't live without y'all. So just
all right. Well, thank y'all for hopping on and joining us tonight. And thank you for all of your comments. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And we'll let y'all know when we're coming back, because we always got something to say.
Always.
We always got something to say. All right. Have a great evening, everybody.
bye.